Thanks for tuning into our podcast. We love having you here, and it's our mission to bring you all the latest and greatest tips, skills, and know-how to make you the best that you can be. We know that you have it in you, and we're going to show you how. Now, let's get started.
This is Lifewell Lift by Omobola Stephen, and I'm your host, Omobola Stephen. Now, on Lifewell Lift, we like to focus on disruptive mindset conversations, focusing on self-improvement and personal development, because we've come to realize the importance and value of personally developing and self-improving ourselves on a daily basis. Personal development and self-improvement is a lifelong process we all must embrace in life in order for us to move from where we are to where we need to be. Is the constant effort that we need to improve upon. And I guarantee you, once you take up this action daily, personally, and looking inwards, finding the right answers to the questions that you need about life, and moving forward in developing and self-improving yourself, I guarantee you that you're going to have a significant change in your life. Now, on the show, I have expert and professional thought leaders who come to share impactful and disruptive mindset conversations that is going to pivot the change and transformation that you and I need to move forward in life. Today, we will be talking about authentic leadership and also on impactful communication. I have an expert on the show with me, Ulrike Seminati, who is a globally operating coach, a trainer, and also a consultant. Now, on the show, we will be talking about significant shifts in the way we communicate, especially in the workplace. Welcome to the show, Ulrike Seminati. Thanks for joining me once again.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me again. It's a pleasure.
It's a pleasure having you once again, Ulrike. So what type of leadership is authentic leadership? Now, are there really traits that we need to look out for?
Well, authentic leadership, I think, is something that is rare because many people, they change their behavior when they come to work versus when they are together with friends, for example, or in a relaxed environment. And I think we need to find the right way of what is my authentic leadership style. And it's not obviously the leadership style that your organization wants you to have. So very often it's a bit different because we are all very individual. And I think it's important to rather think about, okay, how am I? What are my strengths? What are my ways of being? What kind of leader do I really want to be? How does this relate to my values? And from this perspective, really understanding what is my relationship with the tasks that I have every day, with my team, with the goals that I'm given. And according to that, you can make a decision actually on how you want to lead and how you can really bring your whole personality to the table and not just some parts of it that you want to make visible, because that's not authentic. And people feel that. They feel that you're coming in only with parts of yourself and parts of your energy. And I like what you said about personal development. It is a daily task. So it's not happening by itself. You really need to work on yourself and better understand yourself, increase your level of self-awareness to become a truly authentic leader and an impactful leader.
Oh, all right. Now let's look at the flip side of things. Now, contrary to popular beliefs, effective leaders are really authentic, and authentic leaders can be ineffective in some way. Now, the ability to fake is a critical ingredient of leadership potential. Okay, can we talk about this, please?
That's an interesting theory. Indeed, it's true that being just fully yourself in every single situation can harm your career. For sure. Yeah, because it's maybe not seen or valued in that way. And it's like maybe disturbing the situation or something like that. So it's really about finding this right balance, between, what is fitting in or fitting in too much. When do I start faking things really? And when can I be, there's a difference between faking something and adapting to something. And I think when you feel like you do not have your energy anymore, you don't feel really good inside of yourself, your body feeling also changes when you fake things. You feel that it's fake, literally in your body. I think then it's just too far into the wrong, too far into the faking. And I think as long as you feel good about yourself and you have that feeling, yes, I'm aligned with myself somehow, even if for sure in some situations you might be more outspoken, more confrontative, in others you might step back a little bit, be more flexible, be more tolerant. For sure, there are nuances to that everywhere. But as long as you feel inside of you, it feels right, it feels okay, then you're still in line with yourself. And I think then you can still speak about authenticity. So yeah, I know it's a discussion around there. Is it good to be an authentic leader in every single moment? Well, it depends how you define that. Many people think it means speaking my word or speaking what comes to my mind without filter. I don't think that this is authenticity. I mean, it is authentic, but there's another way of being authentic, which means really weighing very consciously. What are you saying? What are you not saying? How are you acting, not acting? But without fully thinking about it all the time. It is much more powerful when you start being present. I think there's a lot of power in being in the present moment. and just speaking, saying now, what is the next question that I have to ask, and so on and so forth. Because as long as you're in your head and just think about yourself and how you come across, which is not authentic, you cannot convey any energy actually. And then people lose a lot of charisma because all this energy is inward looking instead of outward looking. And instead of that, I think a very simple shift sometimes is really just be in the moment, be present, listen to what others are saying now, not what they might say in a minute. Yeah, because we're always already in the future, but really listen to what's going on now, try to understand what's really going on, and speak then spontaneously from what's coming to your mind. And that can be truly powerful. It makes a huge difference if you come from that place instead of from this overthought place of self-optimization that many of us apply every day.
Right now, I'm thinking, is being authentic, is it not tending towards perfectionism? And we all know the faults behind perfectionism. Now, going forward, just regarding your earlier conversation, one can really be a successful leader in any type of business or industry. I'm sure you will agree with me on this. What can a person be a successful, authentic leader in any industry? Is it possible?
Yes, absolutely. And I think some of the most convincing leaders are very authentic because they believe in what they're saying. And authenticity comes also when you are very clear on how you relate to a goal. So when you have to communicate on business goals, for example, to your team or to a wider organization even, and you have no clarity on how you actually relate to that goal because you have just taken over the frequently asked questions that were coming from your communications team and you try to repeat just that, then it does not come across as credible, because also it's not authentic, because you have not made a true connection to that. Whereas when we have really thought through, okay, what is my connection with this goal? Do I have maybe a personal motivation behind that? It's not an obvious one. It can be something indirect. And if you do that and you really relate to that goal, you start speaking from a different perspective. And it becomes just much deeper what you're saying, and people feel it. And that makes you successful at the end as a leader, and inspiring and charismatic, because you are speaking from a moment of truth and not from something that you think, if I am like that, then I will be liked. If I am like that, then I will be respected, or something like that. And it's not calculated, it's something that is really coming from a place of truth. And I think that really good leaders are very true to themselves. They are very consistent in who they are, how they behave, how they speak, because it comes from a place of true self-awareness. And this doesn't change over time. Once you have found that place, you become consistent. Whereas if you try to optimize how you communicate in every single situation, you will be different in every single situation because you don't have that red thread, this foundation of it. And that is something where people do not adhere to. And this is why you do not become as successful as someone who really speaks out of a very consistent place of inner being, really understanding themselves and having this connection to what they have to do or to decide or to communicate.
Right now, I think that being authentic is really an inner work that a person must really work on, as you rightly said, and improve upon on a daily basis. tough work you might say. So let's move to communication, which is also very core of your expertise and also very important in the workplace. We are likening to leadership in the workplace. Now, is there anything like influential communication and also impactful communication? I'd like you to juxtapose these two.
Yeah. So communication is obviously one of these leadership traits that are super important, obviously. Yes, because it's the interface with you and the world. So if you don't communicate well, you can have the best ideas ever, but people will not embrace them because they have not understood it or they are not agreeing with it, for example. And if we want to persuade others about our ideas, what we automatically do is that we say things out of our perspective. Yeah, we think about, oh, what could be a good argument for that? And we come up with 3 or 4 bullet points about this, why this is really so good and so great. And it all comes from our perspective. And what we do not take into account is the fact that as many people as you have in the room, as many perspectives are there. We all see the same situation in a different way. We all create our own reality based on our culture, on our history, on our personality styles. And depending on that, we filter it out in a very different way. And when a typical leader, for example, when they speak about when they want to bring people on board for change or to go the extra mile at work or to be super motivated, they very often have a profile that where for them success, growth, performance, achievement are all attractive things and attractive words. But it's statistically highly likely that in your team you have at least 70% of people, and for those people, these words are not attractive at all. They are even, in the worst case, threatening. So what I work with the leaders always on is that they first understand what their intrinsic motivators are and what probably the motivators of the people are they speak to. And I work with the limbic brain. So I use the inner drivers of the limbic brain. It's like for personality styles in a way, but it works with this reptile brain. Yeah, where we have this very simple brain, it's very intuitive, super instinctive, super, super fast. Every reaction is created in milliseconds. To somebody says something, to a mimic in the face of someone, the limbic brain is permanently active and reacting to that. So if you come in as a person who loves performance and growth and success and status and power and giving direction and all of that, yeah, and you come with these words, but you're sitting in front of a person, and for this person, it's super important to have stability, security, consistency, to have details, to analyze the situation, yeah, and you come with the words about performance and achievement, everything. This person will just think, oh, no, 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 no. This creates a lot of insecurity. I don't even want to hear that. It's not convincing me. Creates a huge amount of inner stress already, which a person will not show, for sure, not, yeah, because they think they shouldn't show it usually. And you then, if you are a person who loves performance, you will, even if you don't see a reaction, because you see that people are not buying in really, there's no true reaction, no excitement about that, you will reinforce the message using these same keywords, but even in a stronger way, which means you're scaring the people out even more. So actually what you're then doing is that you push them even further away from your message rather than putting them closer. Whereas you believe by reinforcing the message, now they must understand that. They must have the same feeling like I do. They must really embrace this because it's so logical to you. And I think this is super important to understand. What you think is attractive might not be attractive, even very counterproductive for the people in front of you. Who is there? Are they thinking like you? Are they loving challenges? Are they very competitive? Then you can speak with these words. But if they are more security and stability oriented, they will shy away from doing anything around what you want them to do. And so you really have to think about what personalities are in the room. And there are many models out there where you can see, usually it's about 4 personality styles. And I use the 4 limbic drivers of the limbic brain, which are very similar to the DISC model, for example, if people are familiar with that. You have people who love status and power, others who are very, very security and stability oriented. So you have people who are extremely people and harmony oriented, for example. And then you have those who love everything that is new, very innovative, very creative, but also most of the times a little bit chaotic or very chaotic, depending on the personality. And according to that, you need to shift your dictionary, the words that you use. And that doesn't mean that you become inauthentic, to come back to the authentic leadership style, to connect these dots. It means that you adapt to the situation, and you can even address it and say, hey guys, I'm super excited about the growth opportunities here, but I know that for you, it's much more important to create some business consistency. And we might be able to create a certain continuity in our activities, even though this is a change project, because we will improve certain things to create more stability on the mid and long term. That's attractive then for that person. But you can say openly, for me, it's attractive to have the growth. Yeah. For me, it's attractive to do something new, but maybe for you, it's not. And I think just putting words on that, and if people might say, no, you're not right. I love ambition and growth. Well, okay, then it's like that. But trying that out, what do people need to hear? Because they need to hear something different, most likely, than what you need to hear, because everybody is different. I mean, it's like in marketing. You need to do really target audience-oriented communication. And even when you're a leader in one-on-one discussions, you really think about, who do I have in front of me? What are the intrinsic motivations of that person? What do they really need or aspire to? Not everybody aspires to a great career. Some aspire to have their peace and do the same job for 5 or 10 years, and they're very happy with that, whereas you might not be. That doesn't mean that everybody thinks the same. So really find out what are they up to, and is that different from what you are up to?
Now, if this becomes a barrier in the relationship, especially in the workplace, how can the barriers be removed? What are the strategies or the tips one can help?
Yeah. So I think, first of all, you need to listen a bit to who is around you. What are they saying? Yeah. You can also ask a question, for example, and say, hey, what's interesting for you in this project? Or what do you like most about your role? And then listen very carefully. Is this person mentioning things around stability and security? Are they mentioning things around, wow, everything that is new is exciting to me? Are they immediately speaking about people, about their colleagues, about the work atmosphere, how it is to work in the team? Or are they speaking about, yeah, for me, I see I can create visibility. I might be able to shape a career when I do this or that project. And around this, really map your team. Take a piece of paper, write down who is motivated by what, who is similar to who as well. You have people who are obviously similar to each other and others that are totally on the opposite side. And map that out. Do you have diversity in the team? Are they very, very similar, very homogeneous? And according to that, you can communicate differently. If it's a diverse team, obviously there's more work to do because you have to address the message in a different way to different people. And if you have a very homogeneous team, that's easier for the communication, but it's a bit sad because you always get just one perspective. If they all have the same view on things, well, then there's no diversity, so you don't get different ideas than the one of the whole group all the time. But it's map the team. Observe first. Observe and listen. People don't do that enough. We just jump across it and think, that's how I think is the real world, how I think is the reality. And then we just go for it like a bulldozer, more or less, because we also have time pressure. That's also reality. But even if you have time pressure, just listen. Just don't think already what you want to answer. Take the time to listen when people are speaking, and you will hear out a lot of information which you would have not realized because you would have filtered it out. But if you listen carefully to understand, then you might find a few nuggets that help you to communicate better and to tear down these barriers between people.
Thank you so much, Ulrike Seminati, for sharing that thought with us. Let us look at communication through the ages, the then and the now. What's your thoughts on this?
So 2 different ages, different communication, you mean? Yes.
Definitely, yeah.
Yes, definitely. Yes, definitely. So I think when you have Gen Z people, young people in the office, you need to understand that they will much more question the why behind decisions and actions. I think it's a bit of a myth that they all need a big purpose at work. I think that's not really true, but they want to understand why they're doing things. They will not just take an action or deliver you some data or create a PowerPoint or whatever you want from them, just because you asked them to. They will want to know why. And I think this is an additional effort that you have to make. If you don't make it, they won't do it. They won't do it correctly. They will not imply apply their whole brain to it, and it will be a lost opportunity actually. Whereas if you speak to people who are in their 50s, 60s, they are used that you just tell them we need that, deliver that. They might ask also why, but it's not that important. You know, they will still deliver it because they think that's my job. I will do that. So there is a difference. So with Gen Z people, very young people, you need to act differently in the sense of giving them much more background to why we're doing things, much more context actually, because then they will create their own reasons, and when they're motivated they work very, very well. So it's not like they're lazy. Sometimes people say they're lazy. I don't think so. I think they just need to understand why they're doing something, and when they buy into that and find their own reason why they want to do that, they will be very great collaborators.
Right. Okay. Do you have any parting word you'd like to share?
Any what? Sorry?
Do you have any parting word you'd like to share with my audience?
A last word? Well, just have the courage, you know, to just have the courage. And I think it's in personal development, this is the key thing as well. The courage to just observe and look at you and be very honest with yourself first. You don't have to tell your flaws to the whole world. That's not the point. But just be really honest with yourself, and then give yourself the chance to love yourself like you are, because then you will do everything you do, be it at work or at home, in a much more powerful way, in a much more authentic way, and you will feel so much better about yourself, and you create a positive spiral. So that would be my last word, and I think it's applicable also to the professional world as much as at home.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ulrike, for the impactful and motivating line. Ulrike, do you have any exciting news you'd like to share?
Well, I have a few trainings coming up for individuals, actually, in February, March, and then I will also recreate others in the future. It's 90-minute sessions around communicating with impact, for example, or around creating more presence, or around leading with authenticity. These topics are there, and it's 90 minutes, so it's always something which you can do in a very short time frame, but it's very pragmatic, very hands-on tools which you get in these 90 minutes, and it's a true live training where you speak to me and where we are a very small group of people to speak about that. So you can just check it out on my website, ulrikeseminati.com, and you click on For Individuals. And this is where you find that.
Absolutely. Now you've shared your website with us. Any social media handles we like to visit?
Yeah, for me, LinkedIn is my main channel, definitely. So go there and find Ulrike Seminati, and you find also all the materials there and all the links that you need. Yeah.
Right. Once again, I really want to appreciate Ulrike Seminati, a globally operating coach, a trainer, and also a consultant, sharing our thoughts, especially on authentic leadership and also impactful communication in the workplace. And likewise, also in our personal lives, truly inspiring and motivating discussion we have today on the show. Ulrike, I wish you best of luck in all the projects that you embark on.
Yes. Thank you very much for having me again.
All right. Thanks for hosting the show once again. If you'd like to catch up any episodes of My Real Lead, you can do so on any distribution platforms or any distribution platforms you bump into, and do having a great time as you listen to expert top leaders, professionals share their thoughts on disruptive mindset conversations on any topics on the personal development. I need you to stay safe always.